everybody! This is the time of year where people are making resolutions to make themselves better in some way, shape, or form. The top 3 most common New Year's resolutions are to exercise more, to lose weight, and to eat more healthfully. But 80 to 90% of people end up failing at their resolutions. I was one of those people for a very long time. I think the first time I made a resolution to lose weight, I was like 10, and I never did. I kept gaining weight. I was growing for a little bit, but I stopped growing in 5th grade, but I kept gaining weight. So, you know, my New Year's resolution to lose weight was just not really cutting it. A few years ago, I finally started to actually make some real changes that helped, and I was able to achieve my goals. I'm still not 100% where I want to be with my body yet, but like, who is? So today I am here to share with you what I have learned on my own journey to a stronger, leaner, healthier body, so that hopefully I can help some of you who have resolved to make some sort of change to your body. And if you want to know what my biggest fitness resolution is this year, I'll let you know at the end of the video once I get through all this other stuff that I want to talk about. And in the meantime, leave a little comment down below as to what your New Year's resolutions are, fitness or otherwise, and how you plan to go about achieving these resolutions. The first big thing that I really want to talk about when it comes to being successful with your health and fitness related New Year's resolutions, and it's something that I think really trips people up and causes people to quit early, and that is how you track your progress. The worst thing you can do is to rely on a basic scale that just gives you your weight in order to track your progress. What you want to rely on instead is something that gives you a sense of your body composition and how that's changing. So essentially the ratio of your lean mass to your body fat percentage. Now, there are multiple ways to go about doing this. My favorite is to use my digital body analyzer scale. I've shown you this before, and yes, it does give you your weight like any other regular scale, but it also gives you body fat percentage, lean mass percentage, and water composition in your body. And so I like to look at how those numbers fluctuate, and that really tells me how my body is changing. A scale like this that breaks down your body composition is so much more effective at telling you if you're making progress, because you know, you could lose 5 pounds of fat and gain 5 pounds of muscle, and a regular scale will not change, and you could get really discouraged because you put in months of hard work and you aren't seeing any changes. But something like this will show you that in fact you actually lost 5 pounds of fat and gained 5 pounds of muscle, which is like huge. I personally like to make this thing a little bit more complicated by actually figuring out the pounds of muscle and pounds of fat that I have by multiplying the percentages by my body weight. Just because like if you gain muscle and your body fat doesn't change at all, your body fat percentage will still go down because it's like less of a percentage of your overall body weight because it went up because you got more muscle. So what I do is essentially, like, let's say the scale said I weigh 100 pounds. That's just for easy numbers. I'm not 100 pounds. Let's say it said I weigh 100 pounds and it said I have like 20% body fat and 40% lean muscle. So you multiply like 20% by 100, so you have 20 pounds of body fat on your body. You multiply 40% by 100, and you have 40 pounds of lean mass on your body. Again, that doesn't add up to 100. That's because it doesn't account for the water weight, which the scale separates out, which is kind of cool. So then if I gain like 2 pounds of muscle and I lose 1 pound of fat, I can figure that out more easily rather than just seeing the percentages fluctuate. But honestly, that is not necessary at all. I'm just a nerd and I like to know the numbers. So if that's too complicated, just forget about all that. That's just really what helps me see exactly what's going on with my body more specifically. As always, I have a discount code for this little thing. It is Fit and Nerdy, gets you 60% off. I do highly recommend you go check it out. This is my favorite body analyzer scale that I've used. I have used other ones. They told me numbers that just made no sense. But the scales themselves, like in general, tend to not be the most accurate, but they are very consistent. So while it might be off by like 3% for your body fat percentage, it'll still tell you if it's going up or down and how much it's fluctuating by, which is really all you need to know when you're trying to track your progress. Okay, I keep hitting buttons, so we're gonna put that back over there. Another good way to track your progress is to take body measurements with a measuring tape. It's recommended that you do like 5 to 10 different measurements. Definitely do like your chest, your waist, your hips, and any other area that you're trying to grow or shrink. So like if you're trying to get a bigger booty, measure the booty. And if you're trying to like make your legs leaner, measure the legs. It won't necessarily give you your actual body composition, but it will tell you if you're losing fat even if the scale hasn't changed. This doesn't help as much if you're trying to increase your muscle mass, because if you increase in inches, it could be from increase in fat or increase in muscle, so you don't really know. But as far as fat loss goes, it's a pretty good indicator. If the scale isn't moving, but like your waist has shrunk drastically, you probably lost a ton of fat. And my last recommended way to track progress is to use progress pictures. Now you have to make sure that you're using the exact same lighting and exact same angle between the pictures, because different lighting can make a huge difference. Like, I've seen people post pictures on forums and stuff where one is in good lighting and then their next picture is in bad lighting. They're like, oh my god, I gained so much weight. And it's like, no, your lighting just sucks. If you do have a distorted view of your body, it might be harder for you to see the changes, so I recommend combining it with one of my previous 2 methods. But as far as monitoring your progress and seeing change, I still think progress pictures are a better way to go about it than using your weight. So if your resolution this year was to change your body in some way, I highly recommend using one of the 3 strategies that I just talked about, because if you're using your weight, it's so easy to get discouraged if your weight's not changing or if it's going in the wrong direction, and it's so much easier to quit when you make all of this effort and the scale's just telling you that it's not paying off, when in fact you actually could have made a ton of progress and you're just not seeing it reflected in your weight. My next huge tip is to make your resolutions quantifiable and as specific as possible. Don't use the generic, I resolve to lose weight, or I resolve to drink more water, because those are just intangible concepts floating around and it doesn't really give you anything tangible to reach for. Instead, make it something like, I resolve to lose 30 pounds this year, or I resolve to drink 80 ounces of water a day. Those are things you can actually reach for with an end goal and measurable progress, and you can know immediately if you are succeeding or failing. Whereas with a resolution to just lose weight, like if you lose 1 pound, does that count as success? Like, how drastic does the change have to be for you to feel like you're being successful? It's so easy to get caught up in your head about whether or not you're like doing this right, and it becomes so much easier to quit when you don't have like defined clear goals. And that leads me to my next tip, which is the goals within the resolution. If your resolution is something that isn't necessarily quantifiable, like let's say it's I want to be healthier this year, you have to set smaller, quantifiable goals within the year so that you can achieve that by the end of the year. I talked about this in more detail in my first Fit Kit video, a series you should definitely check out if your goal this year is to change your body. But setting smaller, achievable goals is absolutely key to making any progress and changing your body in any way. So let's say your goal is to get healthier. One thing you can do is set quantifiable goals for every month and then build upon them. So your goal for January might be to eat 3 cups of vegetables every day, and then your goal for February would be to exercise 3 days a week. So by the end of February, you're now eating 3 cups of vegetables every day and exercising 3 days a week. And then you add a new goal for March, which could be like cutting out soda. And so by the end of 3 months, you've made 3 like different steps towards your goal that are making you healthier. So by the end of the year, you will have made 12 different steps towards being healthier, and hopefully you will have established some habits that you can continue for the rest of your life. So the big takeaway from that is that if you have a big goal like to get healthier, to lose weight, or whatever, don't go all in on January 1st. You have an entire year to achieve your resolution. Take your time, plan it out, set small goals. Don't look at the scale. Just don't look at the scale. Track your progress in a better way, and everything will work out. So for example, my big fitness resolution for this year is to fix the imbalances in my body so they don't come back to bite me in the butt when I'm older. I don't want to be a 30-year-old with back pain. So the smaller goals that I'm using to achieve this larger goal through the year are I want to go to a chiropractor or a physical therapist by the end of February. I'm going to do yoga once a week, and I'm going to incorporate short mobility sessions before or after all of my workouts. And I'm going to start doing a short like 10-minute stretching session 2 nights per week before I go to bed. And hopefully by the end of the year, my shoulder mobility will be even and I'll be able to squat super heavy without one of my legs taking over. I hope you guys liked this video and got something out of it. I do recommend you go check out my Fit Kit series. I'll link it up there if you want to make changes to your body and do it in a smart way this year. Hit that thumbs up button to make your New Year's resolution come true. Share this video on Facebook or Twitter or whatever social media you do choose, and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see ya very soon. Bye.